Eric July, the culture war is real whether you want it to exist or not. Stop funding people who hate you. Thank you so much. Me, Tug, young Rippa, we're among the few that actually stand by this attitude. So YouTuber Eric July recently declared that the culture war is here and it exists whether you want it to or not. And it's sad that we have to tell people this. He also provides an easy way to engage in the culture war and fight back against the authoritarian left. Starve them of money. In one of his more recent videos titled The Culture War is Here, Whether You Want to Participate or Not, July first explains what he means by the term culture war. I'm referring to something that is taking place whether you want it to be there or not, he asserts. Everyone belongs to some sort of subculture. Right now, what we're seeing in recent years particularly is that because one side has basically taken control of what is deemed as acceptable ideological position, or that you can have publicly, in any given subculture, the authoritarian left pretty much has control. He elaborated, if you don't believe me, just think about the fact that they can publicly take their authoritarian leftist positions and see virtually no consequence to anything it is they do. Meanwhile, people that value liberty don't have any sort of culture that they can call their own aside from their little pockets. And we saw that double standard with DC that Ethan talks about all the time. Like during Obama, like for 8 straight years, they were gloating about it. And then Orange Man won, and they told Ethan, oh, you need to be quiet about your gloating. You're making your peers uncomfortable. Like, motherfucker, they made me uncomfortable the past 8 years, and I had to put up with it. What the hell? So whether it be with sports, whether it be with entertainment, your movies, your music, anything like that, hell, the people on the opposite, they don't have any. They don't even they don't even have church anymore. They don't even have that for the most part. Oh, yeah, the churches are completely cucked. Maybe if you're a woman, you can still get some value out of church. But if you're a dude, nah. It's up to us to make our own spaces. Stop giving money to people who hate you, even in the rare occurrence when they make something you actually like. You know you're putting food on the table of people who want to see you Minecrafted. You are financially supporting their other woke projects if you give them money. So stop giving money to people who've said they hate you personally and make your own. If you can't make your own, financially support those who are. Yes, a lot of especially first-time indie projects are not going to be the best, but they will get better over time. He continued, NASCAR, you ain't even got that anymore. Bubba Wallace proved exactly that. You don't have control of anything. There's no cultural imprint that you guys have. We have our own stuff. July then goes on to point out his own experience in metalcore and Disney's firing of Gina Carano from The Mandalorian as examples of their control of culture at large. He also notes it's funny people looked at gatekeeping like it was a bad thing, and then they took it over. Now they gatekeeping y'all up out of there. Yep, that's what I've been saying too. If you don't gatekeep these wokies out of everything you do, they will infest it and take over and gatekeep you out. They've made it clear that there can be no coexistence. One of you has got to go. So if you refuse to kick them out, you've basically volunteered yourself. That war, rather, that conflict is existing whether you want it to exist or not, he reiterates. Oh, yeah. So all these fence-sitting cucks, guys, it's coming, whether it's here, whether you like it or not. If you refuse to fight for yourself and the stuff you love, it will be taken from you, and you yourself will be kicked out of it. And if you complain about it after the fact, go cry to someone else because we warned you, and you refuse to act. July doesn't see an end to this conflict, stating they're on the attack, they've not stopped, and they don't plan on stopping, which is why we have to stop them by gatekeeping them out. However, what they do require of you is your money, your finding, and whatnot. And they can always depend on that if they shine, if their keys are just shiny enough, he says. Yeah. As we've seen with movies like Spider-Man. July then states, and again, I hate to keep referring back to No Way Home or something like that movie came out. Some people are, oh, you're overemphasizing, over-exaggerating. No, I'm not. What that does is speak exactly to what it is that I'm talking about, because it's not like the left reciprocates with you. He asks, do they go in your affairs or something that you, for the most part, control as a person that values liberty and then want to consume your shit? July answers, no, they don't warrant you such reciprocity. So you can't afford to simply ignore that because you're basically walking into that lion's den no matter if you liked it or not. And this is the reality that a lot of people must accept. It's there whether you want it to be or not. It's what it is. Yep. See, I firmly believe that all these people that have declared their hatred of us for the past few years, when they give us something actually good, it's out of desperation. They were running short on money. They needed to make something that gave them a profit again so they can keep paying themselves and keep making more woke ideological bullshit. So they kind of bite their tongue for a little bit. Like, okay, here, we'll throw you fuckers a bone. Here, we're going to make something for you. And then all the morons come right back. Oh, look, they've changed. They've learned their lesson, guys. Spoiler alert. It's a bait and switch. So, yeah, we got into it with Flash on one of the Flashcasts. Like, Flash was like, how is this movie a bait and switch? There was no woke stuff. It was good all the way through. This movie, maybe. But you remember how horrible the previous few Spider-Man movies were? You think they're going to continue this? Hell no. They're going to use this one to get to nostalgia bait people back into the franchise. And I don't know, how many movies until Spider-Man is replaced with Spider-Gwen? How many you guys give it? July then explains that you have to change the culture in order to change the trajectory of the country. What I advocate and what I've been talking about for the better part of 10 years, you change the culture, you change the politics by way of default. And the left has understood this, which is why they've infested everything. And the right lack the balls to fight back. Now, he continues, and for years and years, the non-leftists have seen things that were outside of, let's say, the government per se, as things that were not important. They were always trivial. Like, who gives a shit what rappers think? Who cares what actors or actresses think? Who cares about any of that stuff? It's stupid. You still have these boomer cons who still make fun of people for playing video games. That's just how completely disconnected they are. Because it's pointless, right? You should be in the woods chopping trees or some shit. Oh, God, yes. But they thought of all that stuff as trivial instead of looking at the big picture. If we lived in a freer, more prosperous nation, you'd have more of that. You wouldn't have less. You would have more people caring about what subcultures they're into, not less. It's a powerful driver in the direction that a geographical area is going to go. Oh, yeah, and also he may get to it later on. I haven't actually read ahead. But just think about the children that are growing up in this environment. Your boomer ass might not care about video games, but your kids and grandkids are going to be playing them. So if you're like, oh, who cares that the lefties control the video games and they have their communist propaganda in them? It's all just stupid games anyway. Yeah, stupid games that your kids are playing 10 hours a day. It's just amazing how dumb these people are that they don't see this. The difference between the authoritarian left and everybody else is that the authoritarian left realized how important that was. True. And while y'all thought it was trivial, while y'all thought it was stupid, they went out and they were like, we get control of this. We can control future generations. We don't need ideas on our side. We don't have to be the smartest people in the room. We don't have to do any of that. We just have to get control of these subcultures and so many people belong to, and they care about more than, let's say, who their representative is, be it state or federally. Yeah, there was one small flaw in their plan, though, and that's really been costing them. And that's the fact that, well, we got the internet now. So as long as Japan makes better stuff, everyone's going to go there. So we don't have to worry about all of this anymore. And also, they overestimated the power of branding. It is powerful. It really is. But once you destroy a brand, it's actually a lot easier to destroy it than you think. Like, that's what they did with Star Wars. They bought the world's biggest IP at the time, and they thought, oh, we could just destroy this and use it to push propaganda, and all these dumb fanboys will keep supporting us because it's Star Wars and they're Star Wars fans. Nah, it worked for one or two movies, and now Does anyone consider themselves a Star Wars fan anymore? Yeah, they're just fading away now. No one cares anymore. They destroyed that franchise. He continues, you ask your average person, they have no idea. They know who the fuck Beyonce is, though. They can tell you what happened in the latest Marvel movie. They can do that. The reality is there's a reason why those guys can go pimp out, let's say, those representatives, and whether you think they're the dumbest people on earth doesn't matter, because they are of influence and they do influence future generations. They do have a problem, though. It's the same problem the right had, actually. Whenever the right tries to make a story, like when pushing ideology is the main purpose of the story, it always ends up being shit. Now, you can push ideology in your fiction. You just have to make sure the focus is making entertaining fiction first, and then you add your ideology into it after that in small doses. You can't be ham-fisted about it. So later in the video, July offers a way to engage the culture war after reiterating that the authoritarian left requires consumers to fund their cultural projects. That is why I have the 51-49% rule. That is that just a little over half of your time, effort, attention going on stuff in that sector to folks that don't hate you. He elaborates, any creators getting these in these spaces and being unapologetic about who it is that they are, but most importantly, packaging their stuff in a way that's competitive, not just for the sake of doing it, not just to say, "Hey, look at me, I'm an alternative." It's not good enough. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. Not good enough at all. It's not good enough. You have to be competitive. And you have to be good, and that's what is necessary right now. Oh, we're trying to work on that, man. We're going for it. He then states, so for those of you that look at anything that happens and you say, well, this time I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, which you've done so often, I'm going to continue to give them the benefit of the doubt, even though they've done me wrong, even though they've made it abundantly clear they fucking hate me. I'm going to continue to give them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, that's people who still support Hollywood right there. Yeah. I'm sorry to say that this is a dumbass approach and is going to ensure that you're going to fucking lose, because again, they don't have any sort of reciprocity in that regard. They do not reciprocate. They fucking hate you, and they're bold enough because they control so much and tell you that they don't fucking like you. The only difference here is that you fund them, they don't fund you, he declares. Yeah, why would they behave any different? They can tell you that they hate your guts to your face, and they know you're still going to go see their next movie. Oh, well, you got to separate the art from the artist, guys. Oh, who cares what the actors say? It's a good movie. Okay. I don't want to hear you bitching anymore then. That you support these people, so you kind of deserve them. So to be more mindful what it is that I ask. That's it. Do this, and this does not mean that I'm absolved at this. There's stuff that I can do better in this regards as well, he concluded. Yeah, I'll be honest. With me, I do feel kind of dirty sometimes when I accidentally do this. Like, it sucks that we live in a world where before you buy something, you have to thoroughly research everyone who worked on it. But yeah, I've sometimes accidentally bought some things, and then after the fact, I see, oh, wow, these developers are kind of pieces of shit. I kind of regret giving him money now. And here we are. So young Rippa is 100% correct in everything he said here. The only way you're going to win is to stop giving money to people who hate you. And yes, that means passing on good content. Because when they get desperate, they know what you want, and they will give it to you when they're desperate enough. But if you take the bait, that's just going to fund them for another few years of stabbing you in the back. But hey, if that's the type of world you guys want, be my guest.